All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you again so much for being on tonight's team call. We're going to start it off with Melissa. She's going to be sharing and talking about Plexus P96. And then shortly after, we're going to have a guest speaker, Christi. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, so we're just going to call her Christi. So anyways, Melissa, you can go ahead and get started.
All right, can everybody hear me? I'm having a little delay issue tonight. Amanda, can you hear me okay?
I can. Yes.
Okay, so once again, I just want to remind everybody that these product informations are, I see that, Nick. I'm on a delay every time I hear Amanda and Brian talking. So just y'all raise your hand or send a message or something if you need to read something. But again, I'm at the beginning of all these calls. I just want to remind everybody that this is, just purely informational. This isn't stuff to post. This one is a little bit easier because it's pretty straightforward. But just a reminder again, keep in mind compliance, things like that. Again, what I'm telling you is research based off of the individual ingredients, not necessarily Plexus products, but what the individual ingredients can do. So today we're going to talk about P96. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with proteins and sports nutrition in general. I know you guys all know that I ran a vitamin store for a number of years, but you may or may not know that I actually spent the majority of my career in the gym industry. I did personal training. I was a district manager for a gym for a while. I've done a lot. And so sports nutrition has really always been my forte before I went into the vitamin store. So I'm very, very, very familiar with proteins. So I'm going to kind of give you basics just for people that aren't very familiar with proteins because it does get a little confusing. And I'll tell you up front, our protein is pretty expensive when you actually compare it to the proteins that you see in stores. So I really want to break down exactly why we charge what we charge and why it's definitely worth every penny that we have, that it's worth or that it costs. For those of you that aren't very familiar with proteins, there are two basic types of proteins that you'll hear most people talk about. There's going to be whey protein and there's going to be casein protein, okay? Whey protein is what our product is. It is a quick release protein. So your body quickly absorbs it. A lot of people take it either right before they exercise or right after they exercise, and it helps you build back up those muscles that you've actually broken down during resistance training. Casein protein is not in our product, okay? That is a time release or a slow release protein. A lot of people drink that before they go to bed at night, in between long periods of meals, things like that, to keep themselves full. I'll kind of touch on that in a minute, but just so you know, there is no casein protein in P96. We are purely whey-based. Now, with whey, there are two different types of whey protein. Well, that we'll talk about. There are two main ones. That's whey concentrate and whey isolate. Ours is actually a blend of both proteins, of the concentrate and the isolate. The difference is between those two is basically the amount of protein per serving, the amount of fat, and the amount of lactose. Isolates are leaner proteins generally, but usually
No, go to sleep.
As many vitamins and minerals as what your whey concentrates will. Whey isolates are also more expensive because of the extra filtration process that they have to go through. Again, ours is a blend of both, so we're getting the best of both worlds. Just kind of wanted to explain what the difference was so nobody gets confused. So again, P96 is a blend of both the whey concentrate and whey isolates. Here is what you guys really need to know and why it's so expensive. Number one, when you normally manufacture an isolate protein, it is heated during its manufacturing process. And that heating, or we call it hot press or processed, it actually makes it lose its nutritional value. All that's left is protein. It doesn't have the vitamins and minerals that you see in our P96 for most isolates that you would find at a vitamin store. Ours is never heated. It is cold processed throughout the entire microfiltration process so that it maintains its nutritional value. So it still has over 20 vitamins and minerals along with its amino acid profile in it. So that is a really big thing that you're not going to necessarily see when you first look at the label, okay? Another thing that P96 does that's very difficult to find is we actually come from grass-fed cows. That is huge. I had people come in all the time in my vitamin store and ask me for grass-fed whey. You're not usually going to find that on any type of label when you go to a vitamin store. But P96 does come from grass-fed cows. Again, it contains over 20 vitamins and minerals. We do have, let me see, it's actually, we only have 96 calories. Sorry, I'm getting a message here. We have 96 calories, but label apparently requirements make us round up to 100. That's why it says 100 calories on it, but the 96 comes from the 96 calories. 15 grams of protein and only 2 grams of sugar. Here's another big thing. There is no sucralose or aspartame in our product. Okay, that is big, guys. Go to any vitamin store. You go look at most of our competitors, their protein has sucralose. I cannot name a single one off the top of my head that's not an organic, really expensive vegetarian protein that doesn't have either sucralose or aspartame in it. So that is, again, another really, really, really big selling point for P96. It does contain a comprehensive amino acid profile, as I was saying earlier. The amino acids, they are for brain function, muscle, and energy production. One big thing, a very, very, very important amino acid is called L-glutamine, and that is in our protein. If you guys are not familiar with it, this is something that actually is very important for exercise recovery. For those of you that go to the gym and you do resistance training, you know that you're actually breaking down and tearing your muscles when you're exercising with resistance, meaning weights or any type of body weight resistance. That's why you get sore. This is a good thing. That's how you grow muscles, and more muscles actually increases your metabolism. So the L-glutamine is actually what helps repair those muscles. People that take glutamine straight, they'll actually notice a big difference in the amount of soreness that they get. So this is another reason why you want to take this protein for people that exercise, anybody that you have that are potentials that go to the gym a lot or are looking to lean out, lose that body fat, but gain the muscle. They really, they'll really benefit from the P96, especially post-exercise. Within 30 minutes after you exercise, you usually want to get a high-quality protein into your system. Let's see, P96 is gluten-free, but whey protein does come from milk. So do be aware that people that are lactose intolerant, they may or may not be able to drink P96. I have read a lot of people that are able to drink it along with the ProBio 5 because it does help with the lactose intolerance. My goodness, the ProBio 5 does. So that is an option, but just keep that in mind for people that are highly intolerant to lactose. They might not be able to take P96. Again, it is sweetened with stevia, so we have no sucralose or aspartame in it. P96, it has an ingredient in there that I wanted to kind of touch on because I haven't seen it in very many other proteins, and it's called glucomannan. You guys can look that up, how to spell it. But another word for that is called konjac root. This is a really popular dietary fiber, actually, that I'm very familiar with from the vitamin store as well. It's a soluble fiber that actually can absorb up to 200 times its volume in water. So it can help reduce the water weight, but it also gives you a sense of being full longer. So remember earlier I said we don't have that time-release protein called casein, but we do have glucomannan. So this fiber kind of does a similar function where it's going to keep you full for longer. So that's something that's really different about our protein versus a lot of other proteins that you're going to find. Not only is it good for making you feel fuller longer, it also slows the digestion process, specifically slows the absorption of sugar and cholesterol from your gut. So glucomannan has been studied to help control your sugar levels, help reduce cholesterol. Okay, so again, that's a very different aspect of our protein that I haven't seen in a lot in stores. There's also some new research on glucomannan that it may also help with high blood pressure, overactive thyroid, so hyperactive thyroid, and obesity. Again, that's newer studies that they're doing right now. So that's not information necessarily to talk to people about, but it just kind of tells you how quality this particular ingredient is and why it makes our protein stand above the rest. So basically, P96 is good for anybody that's looking to build lean muscle. And I know a lot of women kind of shy away from building muscle because they think it's going to make them look bulky, but that's not the case. 1 pound of fat and 1 pound of muscle, if you look at them side by side, yes, they weigh exactly the same, but the area that they actually take up is so much less. You're gonna look so much smaller, and you may weigh exactly the same because it's actually going to increase your metabolism and help you burn off more calories just by having more muscle in your body. So I'm a huge advocate of resistance training and proteins to help build up that muscle. It can also be used as a healthy snack in between meals. I do not recommend it on its own as a meal replacement. You guys know that we at Plexus believe in eating real food, not replacing meals with liquid. But I do know a lot of people that do drink this for breakfast. They make shakes out of it. There's probably 100 different recipes online for different shakes that you can make out of P96 with different vegetables, different fruits, different types of milk, things like that. So you can make it into a meal if that's what you want to do. But on its own, it doesn't have enough calories, enough fat, enough anything to really replace an entire meal. So I don't suggest that. One thing that is a nice little tip that I'd like to tell you guys about. If you guys are like me, at nighttime, you might get a little bit of a sweet tooth, or maybe you just get munchies, you want to eat something. A lot of times we go for those unhealthy snacks. This can be your sweet treat, so to speak. You know, mix up some chocolates with whatever type of milk you like, whether it be coconut, almond, regular milk, water, add some frozen yogurt to it, whatever you want to do to it. And you can actually make this into a nice, healthy, sweet treat late at night. And it will actually help keep your blood sugar stable throughout the night while you're sleeping. So this is a good thing, again, to not only drink post-workout, but also before you go to bed. It's very lean, so you're not going to be storing a lot of body fat based off of it, and it will actually help keep your metabolism going through the night. One other big thing about it, you guys ever go to the gym, you see people all the time with their protein all over the place, and they're making funnels out of pieces of paper and stuff and trying to mix their proteins. Well, ours is individually sealed. So for those of you that haven't tried it, this is a huge selling point for people like me that like to go to the gym and don't like to bring their protein in little baggies. Let's see, instructions wise, this might sound really silly, but I always tell everybody, make sure you put the liquid in first. I know that sounds like a dumb tip, but I cannot tell you how many people at my vitamin store would come in and tell me their protein doesn't mix correctly. And that's because they're putting in the protein powder first. So you want to put your liquid in first, then mix it with 8 to 12 ounces of whatever your liquid is. I personally am a skim milk drinker. I know a lot of people don't like milk, and a lot of people have lactose intolerance. I know there's belly fat challenges out there that combine the P96 along with coconut milk, almond milk, things like that, or just water. I personally prefer milk, but everybody has their own preference. I do have a document with a whole bunch of different recipes with P96. So if you guys are interested and you want it, I can try to post it in our team page. And Allison, I think you asked about giving it to a child. I don't think that, me personally, I don't think there would be an issue with giving this to a child because it's only 15 grams of protein per serving. A lot of the ones that you'll find in a vitamin store are going to be 25 and 30 grams of protein per serving. That might be a bit much for a child, but I personally, I wouldn't have any problem with giving it to my child. My own opinion, I can't say 100%, but I don't see any ingredients in there that would be harmful for him. Again, P96 is pretty basic, but I hope I helped kind of tell you guys the difference between what you would find in a vitamin store and why P96 is a lot higher quality versus the cheaper stuff that you might find over the counter anywhere else. Does anybody have any questions about P96? I know that was kind of fast because there's not a lot of information to give on it, but. Nobody?
I do. You said 15 grams of protein, and what was the other one?
It's got 15 grams of protein per serving, and it's got 2 grams of sugar, 96 calories. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, the 2 grams of sugar. I was just trying to make sure I got that part right.
It does have a little bit of sugar in it. Again, 2 grams of sugar really isn't all that much. But yeah, it's 15 grams of protein per pouch.
Okay, thanks.
And those of you that are kind of new, it only comes right now in vanilla and chocolate. I'm not sure if they're going to do a strawberry or not, but right now it just comes in those 2 flavors.
I have a question, Melissa. Can you explain a little bit about the, I guess, the better option of mixing P96 with the almond milk that doesn't contain the carrageenan versus something that does contain that? Does that make any sense?
The carrageenan is actually something, it has absolutely nothing to do with the ability for you to actually lose weight based off of that. The carrageenan there's 2 different types of carrageenan. I don't know a ton about it, but it has been linked to, I believe, cancer-causing cells, something like that, something unhealthy that a lot of people don't want. So it's one of those newer things that people are just trying to stay away from. And again, there's 2 different types of carrageenan. But for those of you that were around when we first released Mega X, the capsule actually had carrageenan in it, and there was huge feedback, and we immediately took it off the market and removed that carrageenan just because, and again, that's not even, there's 2 different types of carrageenan, and there's like food grade, and then there's a type that actually goes on supplements. But the food one is, I believe, the one that was studied and linked to some type of cancer in rats or something like that. I'd have to look up the actual studies, but it doesn't have anything to do with, the quality of the P96 or its ability to help you lose weight. That it's just kind of like having extra antioxidants, so to speak. Just something that you want to kind of stay away from. Sorry, I don't really have a great explanation for the carrageenan. I just know you're not supposed to.
And I think some people had digestive issues taking it because it is in a lot of like if you go and look, it's in a lot of like your ice cream, your coffee creamer. And so I just know that some people linked it to having part of it being their digestive issues.
Yeah, I read an article about it quite a while ago, and that's why I can't recall it off the top of my head. But there were some studies done on it. But again, there's 2 different types of carrageenan. But that's why they're telling you to stay away from it, because it can hypothetically be linked to some health issues down the road that they're kind of studying right now.
Okay, thank you. I wasn't sure with the whole, I just remember hearing P96 and then the carrageenan and all that, so.
Yeah. And again, that's not relative to the actual P96. They were just giving you the tip to stay away from the carrageenan in the actual coconut milk. I don't know, for those of you, I don't know if you guys all know who Rachel Rogers is. For those of you that are interested in why we have these belly fat challenges a lot, for those of you that haven't been around for very long, Rachel Rogers is an NPC figure competitor. She is amazing with sports nutrition. She blows my mind out of the water. She knows way more than I do. And she has an amazing video on why the coconut milk, specifically with the P96, and I believe Slim as well, actually is very effective at decreasing belly fat specifically. So for those of you that don't follow her, I would search either Facebook or YouTube and find that video. I think I have it saved. I might be able to post it in our team page. It's a really, really, really excellent video that breaks down even more specifically than what I did tonight, exactly why this works, and specifically towards belly fat reduction.
Yeah, Rachel Rogers is a good person to follow. She has a YouTube channel, so if none of you guys are following her, I would definitely highly recommend to do so. Does anybody else have any other questions?
Yeah, so how does it taste?
Well, maybe I'll bring you a sample of that tomorrow too.
Well, I'm just gonna get all sorts of goodies here. Huh? You like it?
I do like it. I'm not saying this because it's our product, but I'm the type of person where if something's healthy for you, I will drink it or I'll try it. But I can tell you that I would go out and order protein from like smoothie place and I would order a drink, I would never be able to finish the whole entire protein shake because it was just disgusting to me. But this one, ours actually, the vanilla one, I've actually never tried the chocolate, but I do have the chocolate. The vanilla one actually smells really good to me. Like there's no, it's not chalky. It has a nice smell to it. Grayson likes it, so he doesn't have any problems drinking it. Neither do I, but it's probably the only protein that I've been able to like take in. And I've even tried protein bars. I can't even do protein bars. I've never been one to like not like something, if that makes sense.
I can tell you the chocolate with the Slim tastes just like a chocolate covered strawberry. Like hands down, it is the bomb.com. Seriously.
That all it is just chocolate?
Yeah, I do the chocolate P96 with the coconut milk and then the Slim. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Tracy. Yes, Tracy told me about it. It is so good. It tastes like a chocolate covered strawberry.
Yum. I haven't tried mixing it with my Slim yet.
Only thing I don't like about using the coconut milk, it makes it like a different texture than with almond milk. Does anybody ever?
That is true. But I add more of the coconut milk and it doesn't make it as like thick.
Yeah, it's really good with the almond milk, but I'm trying to do the challenge. I'm trying to use the coconut milk. It's good, like with the Slim in it.
Maybe we'll have to do like next month, like a little challenge within our own team of that. All right. Anybody else have anything else they would like to add?
I want to ask Nick. Nick, speak up. I know that you didn't really care for the taste.
There he is.
When you first tried the P96, I know you didn't really care for the taste. We kind of went back and forth on how to change it. Everybody has their own different palates and what they like. I personally love the chocolate. I don't really care for the vanilla. I know he was the opposite. So Nick, what have you tried that you actually liked with the vanilla?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I really like the fact that with the vanilla you can change the flavors. You can add some strawberries to it. You can make it chocolate on your own. Like I personally really love Ovaltine. It has a lot of like minerals and stuff in it that I add into my milk. Raspberries went really good in it. The chocolate, I didn't care for it. It had a little bit of an aftertaste that I wasn't very fond of. But yeah, I liked the vanilla a lot better.
Yeah, you just kind of have to try them out and see. Like I said, I really like the chocolate, but I've always been like that. The aftertaste is probably from stevia because it does have a little bit of a different taste to it. I'm used to stevia because that's what I always used to drink in my coffee. But everybody's different. I know my dad really likes the vanilla mixed with different things. We've tried mint in it before. We personally have almond milk downstairs. We don't have the coconut, I believe. Maybe not. I might be wrong. I don't know. I'm a regular milk drinker. So, but I know he's tried quite a number of different options. But there's on Plexus Power Tools, for those of you that are part of that group, there are probably 50 recipes for different ways that you can make the shakes just out of the two flavors that we have. So there's a lot of different ways that you can change it.
The chocolate, just as a disclaimer to anybody that's interested in trying it, I don't eat chocolate unless it's Reese's or Snickers. So, I mean, you can't really take my word for saying that I don't care for the chocolate when I don't like chocolate. So, yeah, just wanted to throw that out there.
All right. Does anybody else have any other questions or anything they would like to add about the P96?
I'd like to know something. What is the benefit of almond milk? I've never tried it, and I just don't know what it's about.
To be honest, I don't know much about almond milk. If somebody else knows a lot, they can speak up. But to me, right off the top of my head, I'd say that, there's so many people that have lactose intolerance, and there's been a lot of health issues that people are starting to link with lactose and with milk. skin issues, digestion issues, things like that a lot of people actually think are side effect of these dairy products. So for me, right off the top of my head, I'd say that's a major difference. Like I said, I personally have had milk my entire life, so I've never had any issues with it. So I can't really speak too much for the coconut and the almond milk out of personal experience. But if anybody else has, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just echo what Melissa said. Is there's a lot of people that are finding more and more issues with dairy. Even myself before, when I was trying to decide if I was going to do Plexus or go dairy free. And so obviously Plexus won, and I'm glad it did. But some people just like the taste of it. It does appear that there's more calcium in almond milk. It's also, there's a lot of varieties. I know that I buy the unsweetened one, but there are like vanilla flavors of it, and then sweetened vanilla flavors and chocolate, and I'm sure there's other things. I am not a milk drinker, even with the almond milk, but I use it in my smoothies, and sometimes if I do cereal or anything. But it's lower calorie for sure than regular milk as well.
The added layer. Some of the biggest things with like the almond milks and your coconut milks and all of that is that, like Melissa said, people are coming up lactose intolerant. It's kind of like the peanut allergy. It's come out of nowhere with our society, and nobody knows where it came from. Lactose itself, just to give you a quick chemistry breakdown, lactose is, I believe it's a fructose and a glucose molecule bonded together at the 4-1 molecule, which people that don't know anything of what that is, I'm going to explain. Basically, it's a certain type of bond that the human body is not intended to break down. So your body can't break this bond, and what that causes is indigestion in some people. Some people have, it goes beyond that. They actually have like allergic reactions to it because their body doesn't know what to do with it. But the biggest thing is kind of what the last person was saying. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. A lot of what happens is with the almond milks and the coconut milks, they can more or less manipulate the sugars and the proteins and stuff in them easier than they can cow's milk or any other kind of milk, to decrease sugar and to increase the good stuff that you're getting from it, like the calcium and the protein, that kind of stuff. It is a little bit healthier than drinking cow's milk.
Ooh. I've never had cow's milk before. So, well, thank you, Nick, for that biology.
What did you just say?
I meant like raw cow's milk.
Hold on. If I heard you correctly, you said you've never had cow's milk.
No, that, you know.
And it rolled off your tongue like that. It was just smooth.
I'm no longer inviting you.
I'm just saying.
The team knew what I meant. So, all right, anybody else have anything about the P96? All right, well, Melissa, thank you again so much, and everybody else that shared a little bit of information and asked questions. We're going to go ahead and move on to our guest speaker tonight. Christy is actually in my primary league. She is out in California, so she's 3 hours behind us. So it was right at dinner time, so she ended up making some time for us. So I'm really excited to introduce you to our team and for her to share a little bit of her latest event that she participated in. So Christy, the floor is all yours, and please go ahead and give yourself a little background.
Okay, great. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sometimes the internet cuts out because I live out in the boonies. So real quick, I was just going to share about the P96. I'm a sweet tooth person, and I like to, with the vanilla, I add this Isogenics Replenish. It is lemon lime flavored, and I add it to the vanilla shake. It tastes like key lime pie. Then to my chocolate, I add, this is the organic brand by Rayleigh's. It's like a PB2. I add a scoop of that to my chocolate. It's like a Reese's peanut butter cup. That's all I'm going to say about that. But so those are my two things that I do with my shakes. So my name is Christy, and my full last name is Scholda, but I cut it off really quick, so I go by Christi Szy with Plexus. And I'm over here in California, like Amanda said, and I just recently, in the last couple months, turned gold. And basically, the event that I went to was I went to the Eric Worre, the most powerful woman in network marketing. And this was a big eye-opener event. It wasn't, solely Plexus. And what was neat about the event, it was everybody that does network marketing. And I have never done network marketing before. So for me, I went because I wanted to learn the tricks and the trades and see what everybody's doing. Because no matter what business you're in, at these events, you can learn something for your business. And so it was in Las Vegas at the Mirage for 3 days of intense stuff. And for instance, one day we went from 9 till 12, 2 to 5, and then 7 to 10. So that was a good 9-hour day. And we went for 3 days at the Mirage. So it was lots of information. And so what I did was to share with you guys.
Christy, sorry. Before you get into the event, will you kind of share like out where you're at and kind of you being on your own and nobody knowing of Plexus of where you're from and how you've kind of connected with Helen McFadden and her team?
Of course, yeah. And that actually is part of the event. They were talking about finding a mentor. So what I did was, over here in California, I'm up north, so I am about 2 hours north of Sacramento. Most people think California, they think like San Francisco or Newport Beach area. It takes me about 12 hours to drive to San Diego, so I'm way up north. San Francisco is about 3.5 hours away. So I'm way up north in the hills in the country. I live on 20 acres on a farm pretty much. And up here, nobody has ever heard of Plexus. We've done some events and we're like, hey, have you heard of Plexus? And we always get no. We've gotten like 3 yeses, and they have been really great success stories from people. And so what I did was, our upline's over in Florida, and so you guys do your meetings at 9 o'clock, and so I couldn't really tune in at 6 o'clock my time. So in the beginning, I was kind of like the Lone Ranger. And so what I did was I found out who some diamonds were in California, and that was Lori Welch. And Lori Welch says, well, I'm 6.5 hours away from you, but Helen McFadden, who lives over in Reno, is about 3.5 hours away from you. So I reached out to Helen and I said, hey, listen, I'm new to Plexus. I pretty much, I have an upline, but I don't really have an upline. I have an upline, but they do things a little bit differently. And so over here in California, I wanted to get it going. So I actually drove 3.5 hours to Helen's event. And I told Helen, I said, you know what? I'm so excited. I'm going to come visit you. And she knew I was driving the distance. And because I reached out of my comfort zone, I went the extra mile. Helen has just adopted me to her team. And so it obviously is quite a far drive. And in the winter months, it snows, so I can't get over there because I don't have my private helicopter yet.
And your preschool teacher.
Right. And I do own a business here in town. Yeah. So I do own a business here in town, and I have a preschool with 36 students in it, and I take my son with me to my business. So it's not in my home, but it's actually at a center. So we actually have a preschool that's, a 5-minute drive away from my home. So I'm a very, very busy mom. I have an 11-year-old daughter who sings a lot. She does events all over and opens her fairs and memorials and stuff like that. And then obviously I have a son who will be 3 in June. So having the kids, you're busy. Having the business, you're busy. How do I fit Plexus in? And that's been one of my biggest challenges. But I've learned a lot doing this. So in the beginning, I had people come right away. And then we had the whole October freeze. And that went, I was right up to gold. And then all of a sudden I went all the way down quite a few. I lost half my people. And at first I was kind of discouraged. I was like, oh my goodness, there goes I worked so hard. I got all those people, but then they a bunch of them just dropped off. They got frustrated. But it was a big learning experience for me because it showed me who's going to really stick by my side, who's going to work the business, and who's going to keep going forward. And so in March, I achieved gold again, I say again because I pretty much had it and then the freeze happened. So, so I'm a gold now on my way to senior gold, I hope. So I will get there. So that's kind of, is that what you meant, Amanda? A little bit about me?
Yes. Perfect.
Okay, perfect. Okay, awesome. So being new to this and going to the event, I took some notes. And one of the biggest things I'll start off saying is don't compare. And I actually just got goosebumps saying this because starting this, you know, you might see all these diamonds or you'll see all these emeralds and you're like, oh, I want to be there. I want to be there. I want to be there. And what we automatically do is we look up to them and we want to be there, but we don't see it happening to us. And we automatically like almost depress ourselves. Like there goes our self-esteem. And the way that they explained it at the event is, I'm going to be looking at my notes, is to quit comparing everything to people. It's a journey. It is not a race. So now, you know, I'm fairly new to Plexus and I see all these people that are higher up than me, but you know, they've been in it for 2, 3, 4 years, some of these diamonds and jewels, you know, so they've been in it longer than I have. And not to compare. That was one of the biggest things that they said, because the only way to fail is to quit. So, you know, some people, you know, you hear the success stories, oh, so-and-so made it to diamond, or they made it to emerald in 9 months, 11 months. Well, myself, I've been doing Plexus for a year and I'm not emerald, but if I compare myself to that status, I'm just going to get all upset about it. So don't compare. It was one of the biggest things that they had talked about. And with that, you know, basically, since you're comparing, you let negativity come inside to you because you end up getting upset about it. And then you doubt yourself. You're like, well, what could I have done to do that? Well, what could I do? And then what else is possible? So, you know, when we start comparing, we really are hurting ourselves. So we have to, everybody has their own journey. The point is that you stay in, you keep going. Even if you're walking like a turtle, you're moving forward. You know, you just keep going. That was interesting. So it says, I'm viewing Christy Kid's screen.
I know, weird. Same. I think that's better. That's so weird.
I'm trying to change my picture to just a profile picture. Sorry.
It's okay. Maybe it heard you. I don't know.
There we go.
Sorry. I have slides, so I was like, wow, that's different. So anyways.
Do I need to do the to share, or are you able to share screen? Let me know whenever you're ready to share.
I think I can do it if I can share screen, because I know I can we'll try it. Okay. So anyway, some words of wisdom from it was find a mentor. And so whenever we were talking about Helen McFadden, you know, I went out and I found somebody really high in the company, and it wasn't necessarily just with Helen. But, you know, her team was so inviting, and her team is outgoing, and they help everybody, and they believe in the Plexus One. You know, Celeste was posting them, and I so badly wanted to post a picture of Helen McFadden's closet. I almost did it, but I was like, no, I better not. What if she doesn't invite me back? So it was kind of funny. But anyway, so find a mentor, reach out and ask for help. Everybody in Plexus is more than happy to help you. So seriously, ask for help. And just keep going with your determination. Be determined. So, and then they also talked about having fun. The more fun in the business, the more money you will make. And every single one of these ladies on stage talked about this. And they said, you are worth it. Believe in yourself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to screen share some of these pictures.
Look at us getting all fancy.
Yeah, let me get rid of me. Okay. Okay, can you guys see that one?
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Can you hear me still?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, huh? Is this good, or do you guys want me to make it bigger?
I can see. I don't know about everyone.
So this is...
If each person double clicks the screen, it goes bigger.
I mean, I can do that. Does that work good?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so this right here was the opening day, And they made it super, super fun. And they had all this, music going on, really high, pumped up music, all these strobe lights. So they're making it really, really fun. There were 3,000 people at this event. Okay. Here is Eric Warray. And this is what he did, was he made a panel of women here. And, I'm not going to go through every single one's name because I don't know how much time we have, but these right here are all $1 million earners. And he asked them all a bunch of questions, and these were some of the ladies that spoke to us. Okay, this one, I'm sure you have all heard of this. It's kind of the see no, hear no, speak no, the evil guys. What they did is they talked about see nothing, hear nothing, say nothing. So you may be stuck in your business and you're like, oh my goodness, I don't see nothing, hear nothing, say nothing. So what that means though is when say you're in the line at the grocery store and somebody is complaining, oh, I got so many headaches. Oh, I wish this headache would go away. But if you see nothing, if your eyes aren't open to it and you're not hearing nothing and you're not saying nothing, what's going to happen? What happens if you do nothing? Okay, so here they were just talking about how open your eyes, open your ears, and obviously you're going to open your mouth, because if you do nothing, you're not going to have any progress. You're not going to grow. You're not going to build your business. So people that complain and say, oh, I've talked to everybody, I'm talking to this person, and nobody will call me back. Well, what are they really doing? What are they doing? So this lovely lady, I'm sure you convention goers recognize this lady. So this is Rita Davenport. And Rita Davenport was the keynote speaker last year at convention, and I loved her. She was the funniest speaker of them all. She was talking about basically never compare, and if you do, it's because of low self-esteem. So never ever compare yourself. If you're comparing yourself to somebody, you have low self-esteem upon yourself. And she talked about network marketing like sperm. And what she was talking about with sperm is, you have all these sperm, and then you have this one little sperm, and it just keeps swimming and swimming and swimming and swimming and swimming until it makes it through. And the one sperm makes it. And how she's comparing ourselves to the one sperm. So she was talking about these people that are making money, and these millionaires, and how they're like, wow, yeah, I'm one in 2,000. Am I echoing?
A little bit.
Oh.
Sorry.
Let me try this. I don't know why I'm echoing.
You're not echoing anymore.
Okay, good. Okay. Let me go to the next one. So, where's the next slide? So she was talking a little bit about this, how you experience success, and how a lot of people think that this is what success looks like. So on the left-hand side, a lot of people think, oh, you just ride straight to the top and that's how you get your success. Unfortunately, that's not how it is. Every single network marketer will tell you that it really looks like the picture on the right. See how there's squiggly lines? So you're going up, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, squiggly. I myself made that squiggly back in October. So sometimes you go up, sometimes you go down. The point is you keep going, and no matter how crazy your squigglies are, eventually you will get to the top. So obviously, keep going. Okay, let's see what else I've got here. This is another one. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So I myself can relate to this photo. I was a fresh young cat starting this. And, whenever you're new, sometimes you think, oh, I don't know everything, or I don't know how to do this. And you can doubt yourself. You're this young little kitty. But then as you grow, they were talking about growing, investing time into yourself. As you grow, you're going to feel more pride, like the lion has the pride, because now, you know, he's the big lion, and you're going to feel that. And all your knowledge that you gain is going to build you into that lion from that little cat. So this shows a picture of your reflection. So if you are thinking that you are just like, oh, you know, I'm just somebody that doesn't really know much, and I don't know what to say, or I don't know how to do this. Well, as you grow, you will learn that if I say, hey, you know what, this is going to be fantastic, and I know what I'm doing, and I will get through it no matter what, your self-confidence is going to boost up higher, and therefore you're going to go out, you're going to do better, you're going to be more challenging to yourself, you're going to work outside your box, you know, you're going to take some more risks. Okay. And then here's another one on being a leader. And this is from Jack Welch. It says, before you are a leader, success is all about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is all about growing others. And this very, very much relates to Plexus. I feel like I am working on those first two lines. You know, basically, here I am, my first year. They talk about your first year in the business. A lot of time you're learning and you're growing, and how once you get to that leader status, you know, you need to learn and you need to work your way up there. And then once you get the leader status, then everything's about growing everybody else. So here we have everybody, like you're joining, you become silver, you know, you yourself needed to have people join. And then definitely by the time you are gold, you know, now you have all these people underneath you. So now it's more about helping them grow, as well as leading by example. You know, your team's not going to do something that you're not doing yourself. So that's a big one. Okay. I got 4 more. So this says have to versus choose to. And what they mean by this is, what do you yourself have into it? Like, do you have to sell Plexus? Do you have to do this? Like, why are you doing this? Or do you choose to share with Plexus? And a lot of people, if they have to do something, they're more likely to not put it in their all. But if they choose to, if they believe it, if it's in their heart, then they're more successful. And this is a really fun one. This definitely is what I want to implement on my team. So here we talk about, am I having fun? Is my team having fun? Is my team having fun with me? So if you're leading a team and you know you're just not really motivated, you're not really having fun, your team's not going to have fun. And then team members are going to look at you and you're not having any fun. So why are they going to want to follow you? So they really talk about having a lot of fun, doing silly stuff. Everybody loves fun, and everybody that needs these products, there's so many people that, you know, they might be depressed, or they're, you know, they're kind of sad. So they definitely want to do something fun. Nobody wants to do something that's not fun. So if you make it fun, they're going to be more interested and they're going to want to do it.
Hey, Chrissy, can you share something else? Can you share real quick about your goodie bag? Because I think that's fun. I saw your video about your goodie bag.
Of course. Okay, yeah, sure, no problem. So I have 2 more really quick, and then I'll do the goodie bag. Because then I'll switch the screen, okay, Brian?
Got it.
Okay. So here's it says, let's connect. We all need a little help until we find our wings. Basically what that's talking about is reaching out, kind of like I did with Helen. You know, we all want to succeed in this, and we just need to reach out. And as soon as we reach out, have a mentor, have somebody help us, we'll find our own wings, and we will be able to take flight ourselves. Okay, 1 more. Okay, so this was one of the other ladies on the most successful things to ask, like what people tend to ask. So good questions was one of them. John Maxwell has one book, and it talks about good leaders ask great questions. And this can really help you guys whenever you're talking to potentials, learning to ask the right questions. And I would just ramble on all the time, and I would talk about the product did this for me. But you have to realize it's not about us. It's about them. And so what we want to do is we want to talk, ask the right questions and really get it involved with them. Okay. So I'm going to talk about my little goodie bag. You want me to go get it?
Well, unless anybody wants to see the video. I know you posted it somewhere.
Okay. So I just have this little bag. Madeline. I'll have my daughter get it. So I have this little bag, and I call it my treat bag. Can you go get my little gray bag? It's probably in my purse. My little Plexus bag with my samples and stuff in it. Thanks, honey. So I have this little bag that I carry with me all the time. And for my success personally here, where it's so unknown, the 7-day trials have been my big winner. I sold 2 of them this week already, and I pretty much was only out 2 days this week. On the weekends, I stay home, and then during the week, I work at the preschool. So my little bag here, thanks, babe. This is my little goodie bag, and it's just a little bag here, and I have all kinds of fun stuff in it. And I have this in my bag. It's in my purse all the time. And I'm telling you guys, if you have this with you, it's amazing. And then at the Eric Worre event, I learned something else. I'll tell you that later. So what I carry in this bag, obviously, is my 7-day trials. I have, what all do I have in here? I have some 3 days. I have my brochures. And I have, obviously, business cards are in here. My business cards. And then I have a pen and a notebook. And normally I have my samples in here as well. I just give out my E's. So I have samples with me all the time. So that way I'm stocked with almost everything that I know. And you know what I have been doing is I've had a few people that have asked me about the children's vitamins. And what I have done is for friends, not complete strangers, but friends, if they ask me, I'll tell them, I'll be, hey, you want to try one? Because my kids eat the children's vitamins. And a lot of times if their kid will eat it, they'll try it right in front of me. And their kids are like, oh, that's pretty good. It tastes like they've said it tastes like a sour grape gummy patch. And their kids will eat it in front of me. And I'll be, oh, see, Mom, he or she likes it. Oh, that's really good. And it's, it's natural. So it's really so much healthier. So I'll do that too. I'll take a couple and I put them like in a snack Ziploc bag. But I do the pen and the pencil because we've all been there. Our batteries down, our cell phones. If for some reason we can give them our card, but obviously we have to get their contacts back. And so I'll take this little notebook. And if they don't have a business card that they can give back to me and my cell phone is dead, I instantly try to find them on Facebook right away. But what I'll do is I'll write it down in this little notebook. And that way I always have a pen and a paper in here and I can get their contact info. Okay, so that was some of the slides. I don't know how long you guys want to do this, so just how long do you want me to talk, Amanda?
We usually go until about 10 o'clock our time, so you can wrap it up for like
okay.
Or anything else that you would like to share.
Okay, so at this meeting, my team and I were actually doing weekly calls, and we're going to probably have to do like 4 or 5 of them to get through everything that I learned at the Eric Worre event. But they were talking about your why. If your why does not make you cry, then that's not your real why. Like, what is your why? Like me, my why is I want to, not only do I love the products, I love the products. My life is so much better now, but I also, the business part of it, I want to be debt free in 5 years. I want to be able to let my daughter pick whatever college she wants to go to. I looked down at my son last week and I'm looking at this little guy and I'm thinking, what, by kindergarten, I really want to be driving like a nice Lexus, he's going to turn 3 here in June. So, but anyways, so they talked about make your kid your why. And especially us mothers, we are mama bears. When it comes to our kids, we are fighters, and this one lady, she gets up and she's like, if your why isn't strong enough, you make your kid your why because you will fight for your kids. We are mama bears and we are not stopping until, our kids are taken care of, so, and you should have seen her. She was like, fight like a mama bear, don't tell them that you can't do something, whenever you can do it. So that was really neat. And a lot of the notes that I took in this panel talked about, just not quitting and keep going. Why do you really want, it talked a lot about, the activities that you do, don't expect to be making $1 million if you're honestly only working for like 10 cents. Like you have to put in the time, you have to put in the effort, you have to keep going if you want to be up there with everybody. And another gal, she was talking about, a lot of them were talking about money, but they were talking about like asking questions to different people. And one thing that, I don't know where it is in my notes, but as a team leader, they really talked about, picking, like we call them our runners, picking your runners, picking the ones that are motivated. In the beginning of the business, I wanted every single friend of mine to do this with me. And I kept pouring all this extra energy because I wanted them to do it. And then it turns out some of them are the runners, but some of them are not. And if you see the ones that, if you message them and they get back to you, or you say, hey, I want you to do this, and they do it and they get back to you, those are going to be your runners. So they talked about like growing your team. Don't necessarily focus on the ones that really don't. They say they want to do the business, but they kind of really don't, And they talked about teamwork, how team stands for together, everybody achieves more. Like that should be for a team, together. You guys all work together. So, but there's so much. I got a ton of like book references on what books I could buy and read. One of the gals was talking. She made this little map. Oh, she's talking about the change. And there's 5 spots. There's circumstances, thoughts, feelings, actions, and results. And she had a graph. And it talks about, results, if you're expecting results. So for instance, if you have somebody that weighs 200 pounds, they want to lose weight, but they don't think they can. They're depressed and they have failed attempts. They eat bad and don't go to the gym. And so they never lose any weight. But right there, she's talking about the result is they don't lose any weight. The action is she eats bad and she doesn't go to the gym. The feelings is she's depressed. She has failed attempts. The thoughts are she wants to lose weight, but she doesn't think she can. So her thought is negative. And then on the C part, it talks about how the circumstances she weighs 200 pounds. And they applied that to us too. Like if you want to get to the next level, what are you doing underneath these circumstances, thoughts, feelings, actions, and results? How are you going to change that? Because you can change that end result with all the rest of them. And so it's a new way of looking at our own mind. The change starts in your own thoughts. So it's like, how does it feel to be crazy, stressed, or behind? They talk about that. Understand your feelings. And that was by Haley Hobson, and she was one of the Millionaire speakers on there. And she was just talking about, understand what you're feeling. So if you're ever feeling like stressed or overwhelmed, what are you going to change? You need to look at your thoughts and change it. And then another quick thing, what I'll leave you guys on is thinking time to yourself. And I just started doing this. So even if you have 5 or 10 minutes alone someplace where you can just think, no kids, nothing, no house chores, just a spot where you can sit and think about, what do you want to do? What do you want your goals to be? If you can write it down, do it. If you write down your goals, it's more than likely going to happen. Think about that. So each day, try to like reevaluate and think, how did my day go? Oh, you know what? I want to make sure that I call like 3 people, and write it down, and just take some time to yourself to like rethink. And then it'll be in your mind process. Hey, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. So I could go on and on, but I don't want to bore you guys.
No, that I really did like those point of views, Christy. So thank you again so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
Hopefully maybe next year. I did attend the mastermind event 2015, but I definitely would love to go to one of his events. So hopefully maybe next year. But yeah. Does anybody have any questions for Christy? No one?
No, but thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Yes, Christy, thank you again so much for taking time away from dinner time with your family. We greatly appreciate it. So just to wrap up the call real quick, tomorrow, for those that are in our group, we're going to be starting the 7-day challenge. Not the 7-day challenge, the silver in 7 days. So I hope you guys are all ready for that.
some of the stuff I know that we've talked about it, but it's now time for myself and our team to see the action. Tonight is also the last night to order for the $50 Etsy gift card. And I wanted to ask you guys if you guys wanted to do another online party. I'm trying to do those like once a month. I know Melissa and I talked about it. We did one last month, but I would like to continue to do them every single month from here on out. Do we like the online parties?
What is it?
I'm sorry?
What was it?
The Plexus online parties that like I will host them and you invite your friends. And then we make posts and people answer questions. So it's pretty much us sharing Plexus from our home on like an event.
Okay. I thought they were really good. I like them.
Yeah. Okay. And then we also are talking about having an opportunity meeting, which that's an actual meeting face to face. I know some of you are not local. I'm sorry. But hey, for those that are not local, if you plan it, we can always plan to come and have an opportunity meeting at your area. So that is something to keep in mind.
We also have a guest room, so if you would like to travel, we will host you for the night.
Yes. Yeah. Nick, maybe when I'm Diamond, I'll come to Ohio. And one last thing is do you guys want to maybe do like a book club? Like we all read a book together and kind of talk about it? Is there anything that you guys would like to do? I'm really trying to more activity with our team. So is there any ideas that you guys would like?
I think that's a good idea about the book club because I think that would be a little bit more motivating to, get people engaged more in reading the books.
Obviously, a little bit of, I know the GoPro is super easy read. I have yet to come across any like small easy read books. So if you know of anything, please share. I just got this one in the mail. Yeah, Sarah Robbins. What is her book called? It's Rockin' Robbins. What is the name of that book, Christy?
Rockin' Network Marketing?
Yes, there we go. Thank you. But this one is a little bit bigger read. But I really like this book. I like it because it ties into our everyday life. Like So you can get it on Amazon. I believe I saw it for like $10. But Plexus, I want to say he will be a guest speaker at the convention this year because Plexus Corporate sent it to us. So, but it's called Real Leadership by John Addison. And for an example, one of his first chapters is called First Things First, Decide Who You Are. So, he talks about his life, but he also talks about his business and being successful and what helped him get where he's at today. So you guys definitely like the book club idea. When we get together maybe like every week or every other week and kind of just talk about the book.
You could do every other week on the Zoom for the book and then every other week for product knowledge and guest speakers.
Okay. If there's a book that you guys would like to read together or share with the team, go ahead and post it on the team page or send me a private message. So, all right, is there anything else that anybody would like to ask or have any questions or anything that's going on their way right now? I'm going to stop recording.